Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of. Actually, you know what? We're not getting snacky. We are going to be getting cooking in the kitchen with Daryl this evening. I'm going to be doing a recipe that lots of people have asked me over the years, and it's not necessarily a secret recipe. I've always been happy to share this recipe, but never really shown anyone live, I guess, or recorded and told. But it's no real secret. Because I got the recipe off my mom and she got it from someone, one of those type of things. And I will be making pistachio cake, pistachio bundt cake, if you will. So we're in a new setup today, so apologize for the lighting or anything like that. I'm trying to figure this all out. We got the one phone camera going on right now, so we'll see how this works out, and maybe we'll move on to the next episode of this Cooking with Daryl. All right, so pistachio cake. Let's get right into it. You'll be needing some typical baking needs. We'll obviously be needing a mixing bowl. I got this one right here, but for tonight, we're going to be using a clear one to maybe hopefully get you guys a little bit understand what's going on. We'll need a whisk, spatula, half cup measuring cup, and of course, a bundt pan. It has a hole. All right, so let's get right into it. I like to do the eggs first because that way if you have any shells, you can get rid of those right away. A lot of experts tell you to do the cracking of the egg in a separate bowl. So again, the same idea prevents you getting shells before you start mixing everything in. You can't tell what's a shell. For those who, if you get shells in there, you either use your finger. Shell is a good trick, using another piece of the eggshell to get it out there, obviously. So there's a lot of things out there. I'm not going to go bore you guys with that. But I actually am doing really well right now. And I also like scrambling that up a little bit, mixing that in while we're going in. So I like to do all the wet ingredients first. I'm going to do some vanilla extract. Now let me tell you guys, you can obviously use the best ingredients that you have available, but I am using what I have, what's affordable, and it still tastes good. So for those who've had my pistachio cake, this actually is very interchangeable. So I've used different brands of different things. This is probably usually what I have on hand and usually what I have ideally. But again, if you don't have a real vanilla extract, it's still going to be fine. It's going to be okay. When it comes down, it is still a box cake mix, but it is made with love, I guess. All right, so let's go in. We're going with a teaspoon, about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Kind of depends on your, the strength that your vanilla extract and how well you like it. It's not going to be tasting like vanilla, but it definitely enhances that flavor. All right, so that's mixed in. Let's go in for more liquids. It's also going to be doing half cup of water. Over here, do half cup of vegetable oil. Now I have used canola oil. I have not used olive oil, so I'm not sure how well that changes everything. But I have used vegetable oil and canola oil, and I don't feel like it changed anything out of the flavor. And I use 2% milk. I have used evaporated milk and I have used whole milk before. Again, nothing too much that I've noticed, but I just go with what I usually have. Half cup. Now I know some people are saying like, Daryl, you're using a dry ingredient measuring cup for liquid. Yes, I am. This is what I've always used. And it's tasted great. So as long as I guess you're consistent, it'll work. Again, when it comes down to it, also a dry ingredient cup versus a liquid measuring, there is a difference. I'm not gonna lie, there is a difference, but to me, it's very negligible, especially for what I'm using. It's oil, milk, and water. It's not some great ingredient that's gonna super enhance or affect the end result. So I think you'll be fine. And again, this is what I've always used. This measuring cup is since my childhood. I remember my mom using this as a kid growing up. This is minimum 30 years old. It still works. So it's fine with me. No one's ever complained about it. after getting my pistachio cake, so why should I change now? All right, give that a quick mix. Make sure that's thoroughly mixed up. All right, moving on to the pistachio pudding. Pistachio pudding. I get it from the Jello brand. You can probably get another generic brand. I feel like this is the best one. I've used other. Ooh, you like that? For those there? For those, you can use other brands. Again, as long as it's the pistachio pudding mix. But I feel this comes out the most green and flavor-wise. But when it comes down to the textural-wise, I believe any pistachio pudding mix will work. But I do like how green Jello makes it. So take it as you will. Use what you like. So that's 2 packages of the Jello pudding mix. And again, half cup of each water, oil, and milk. Put this over here. All right, give this a quick stir, stir, stir. All right. You want to make sure that it gets all incorporated. You don't worry about too much because you are going to be mixing in the cake mix as well. But you do want to get it incorporated. Again, obviously this is pistachio, and there are little bits of pistachio in the Jello mix. I can't say that for every other one. So if you do have a nut allergy, please be mindful of that. All right, that looks good and incorporated. Now I go on. Today I'm using the Betty Crocker Super Moist cake mix in the white cake mix. I think nowadays almost every cake mix has an extra, I guess, ingredient. They all have like little extra things of pudding mix in it. I've seen that in other ones, but obviously Super Moist is always good when it comes to cake. Yes, I said that word and I don't even flinch. Sorry about for those who do, but a basic cake mix. You could use yellow. I use white. I've used funfetti. And that's all it is just sprinkles in there. So I honestly just get whatever is on sale. I have used Pillsbury, Betty Crocker, Duncan Hines. So it almost doesn't matter. And actually the Aldi version, I've used the Aldi white cake mix. So it almost doesn't really matter which cake mix you use when it comes down to it. But sometimes they go on sale for like 2 for $2 or 2 for $3. So that's the steal. Oh, sorry, I got a little too excited. I do try to do a little bit at a time. I kind of went halfway on that one. Got a little distracted. You don't have to sift it. Some people do. My mom, if she has the time, she will sift it. When I have the time, I will sift it as well. But you do not have to, because I've done it both ways and I didn't really notice the difference. Again, as long as you get it all incorporated and you go a little bit at a time, it does make it easier, a little less messy, because once you get all the cake mix going and the flour is flying, but it does show, some people like that look. It lets people know you were in the kitchen working hard. All right, while this is all going on, I do have the oven set at 375. So you want to preheat your oven, 375. Obviously every oven's a little bit different, so you want to take your, you know how you work your oven. But I would go 375 middle rack for that. I wouldn't go any higher than that because the way this cake cooks, it can burn quite easily once you get to a certain point. So definitely 350 to 375 is the most ideal. But if you have the time and you're able to watch it towards the end of the baking period, 375 is fine. All right, get most of that out. Put that guy in the sink. Let me get my spatula, get the last of it, because we are pretty much done. So that's really it. You're just dumping and mixing, and that's all it takes. All right, all that's lastly. So I don't know if you guys can see. It's nice and mixed up there. All right, lastly, you have your bundt pan. And I do use, this is actually a baking spray. I got this guy at Aldi. It's not there all the time. It's like a special buy. So when I do see it, I do pick up a couple of these. You could just use the regular spray oil. That works out fine. But I feel the The baking one actually does the best job. I don't know what makes it exactly different. A nice good coating of that. And now all you gotta do is mix. Now I do like using this guy whenever I can because it does have a handle. This mixing bowl does not, but it does have a lip. So that's kind of nice and holding. But if you do need something to hold on to, this is actually pretty good. I like this. In a pinch, I have actually used a pot, a cooking pot, to mix everything in. And it might sound like that's kind of weird, but when it comes down to it, this is basically a pot. I'm just not putting it over a stove. So when it comes down to it, so it's the same shape, same function, or same shape for it, and you could use it for that function. Okay, since I have a handle here, I'm going to pour it in as even as I possibly can. You can always just scoop it out if you're more comfortable with that. But you want to try to get as even a layer as possible. All right. Just get a little bit of the scooping. We are making this in real time, so I apologize for the dead air. All right. Just about. There you go. And I do like to smooth it out a little bit, try to even it out. And we are done. Literally, that is it. There's my pistachio cake. Now again, we're going to throw this in the oven, 375 for about 30 minutes. Towards the end, so after like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, you do want to take a peek. It'll start to rise, and you do want to rotate it. At least definitely my oven, you know, ovens are different, hot spots, excuse me. So you do want to rotate it halfway through and then keep an eye on it the last 10 minutes or so because there gets to a point. So this is a super moist cake. So if you put the toothpick in, you don't want it to go all the way dry. It'll still taste great. It's not going to be overly dry. But if you put a toothpick, you do the toothpick test and it doesn't come out clean, as long as it's not like goopy. If it's goopy, obviously it still needs to go in longer. But if you just get at the once you put your toothpick in, it comes out, it's a little bit wet, you're going to be okay. Because the thing is, you don't want to overcook this because the outside will burn. And not saying it'll get black, but you'll be definitely a toasted cake. If you ever reheated cake and you let it go too far, like in your toaster oven or whatever, you know what I mean. And you'll start to smell. It'll smell like cake. It'll smell amazing. But if you let it go a little bit too long, there's that fine line. You'll start to smell like, oh no, I burned the cake. As long as you get in there right away, you'll be fine. But again, it's hit or miss depending on your oven. So again, those last 10 minutes of the cooking time, make sure you do keep an eye on it. You don't want to be opening and closing the oven door all the time, but definitely do keep an eye on it and you'll be set to go. All right. Let's get this out, knock this out of the way. Once you pull it out, once it's done, let it sit for a couple minutes. And then if you need to, go along the edges of the bundt pan, and so you can kind of get it loose. And then once it's kind of cooled down enough, take a plate. Oh, you don't have one big enough. Take a plate, and then you're gonna flip it over. I'll probably make a separate video, or I'll try to add to this video here. But that's it. That's a pistachio cake. That's really all it takes. Really, but anyone can do it. And growing up, the reason I said that, growing up, I always used to watch the show on WTTW Channel 11 here in Chicago. It's a PBS station, and I used to watch Yan Can Cook. Now, he was doing a lot of Chinese food and then other foods, but growing up, he always said, if he can cook, if Yan can cook, so can you. Guys, I'm all self-taught, watching my mom, my sister, my aunt, my dad, watching TV shows. I can cook. I think I can cook. Obviously, I'm not starving over here. So you guys, if I can cook, you can cook. You just got to get yourself out there and try. Okay? Pistachio cake ready to go in the oven. I'll see you guys when this is done, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Cooking with Daryl or Getting Snacky with Daryl. All right. Have a great night. Take care. Be safe. Stay home. Stay alive. All right. Bye.